For anyone who's serious about high-end networking, there's been a pretty significant tremor in the force. The gold standard certification, the CCIE Data Center lab exam, just got a major refresh.
You're right. We're now officially in the era of version 3.1 as of late, February 2026. But the key here is how Cisco is doing it. They're calling it an agile revision.
Right. So the grueling 8-hour marathon format is still there, split between design and the hands-on lab. But they're saying the actual content change is under 20%. That doesn't sound like a complete teardown.
Exactly. And that under 20% number is crucial. It means if you've been studying, you don't need to panic, you just need to pivot. It's Cisco's way of saying they're done with those massive, once every 5 years overhauls. They're moving toward faster, more relevant tweaks. It's less about changing the game and more about clearing the deck of yesterday's tech.
So it's a work smarter, not harder situation for the overall structure. But it seems like within that 20% change, some absolutely massive shifts are happening in how we actually manage these data centers.
Oh, for sure. The biggest shockwaves are in the computing and automation sections.
Let's get into that. I saw they completely swapped out their own HyperFlex solution for Nutanix, and the automation tools, they've basically thrown out the old playbook. DCNM and UCS Director are gone, replaced by the Nexus dashboard, and interestingly, support for Terraform.
That's a massive signal. It's Cisco admitting that the world is moving toward multi-vendor hyperconvergence and infrastructure as code. The addition of Terraform is the real aha moment. It's no longer just about writing some Cisco-specific scripts. It's about mastering industry-standard orchestration.
That makes sense. It connects back to that whole agile idea. By including Nutanix and Terraform, Cisco is aligning the CCIE with the tools engineers are times being asked to use by their bosses right now, instead of just pushing their own legacy software.
It's a total reality check. Being a hardware guy isn't enough anymore. In this new version, if you can't speak Terraform and Nexus dashboard, you're pretty much invisible to the modern data center.
It's a reality check for sure, but the changes aren't just in software and management. They've also reached deep into the physical network layers, especially with how we handle the biggest workloads of today.
You mean the AI and machine learning clusters?
Exactly. Turning to the storage part of the exam, it looks like they've officially removed SCSI completely. In its place, they've significantly expanded ROSI v2, adding deep dives into congestion control features like PFC and ECN.
This is all about performance. SCSI is fine for general use, but it just can't keep up with the demands of AI workloads. Think of it this way. SCSI was about simple connectivity, like a standard highway. ROS 5.2 is like a dedicated high-speed rail line, built specifically for data. By focusing on it, Cisco is ensuring that a CCIE can actually build the backbone for a modern AI supercluster without the network becoming a massive bottleneck.
So we've gone from legacy storage to AI-ready fabrics. That's a lot to take in. The big question for anyone listening who's a candidate is, how do you actually pass this thing, given these new hurdles?
There's a recommended 1-2 week sprint. The first couple of weeks are just for auditing what you know and mapping out the changes. The middle part is the danger zone. That's when you have to go deep on Terraform and the Nexus dashboard.
And what about the pass rate? I imagine there's some anxiety about that with the new version.
For sure. They're expecting a 5 to 10% dip in the pass rate for the first few months. That's just the new version tax. It happens every time. Once the study materials catch up and people get their hands dirty with the Nutanix and Terraform workflows, it'll level out to the historical 20-30% range.
That's reassuring. So the real so what here is that the CCIE is becoming less about memorizing Cisco commands and more about proving you're a high-level systems architect. If you can navigate this 1-2 week plan, you're not just passing a test, you're proving you can handle the most modern data centers out there.
That's the perfect way to put it. So if we boil it all down, there are really 4 big takeaways from this v3.1 update. First is the 20% delta. It's an agile update, not a revolution. Second, automation is now dominant. Mastery of Terraform and the Nexus dashboard is non-negotiable. Third, the network fabric is now built for AI. with the shift from iSCSI to ROS 5.2. And finally, there's the strategic replacement. Cisco embraced market reality by swapping its own HyperFlex for Nutanix. It's a leaner, meaner, and much more relevant exam.